Namaste, Soul Circle! I'm Steven.
And I'm Candice.
And we're from Arcana, Mind, Body, Spirit, located in Toronto, Canada.
And today we are discussing how to celebrate Litha. It's summer solstice and it's time to celebrate the longest day of the year, raising gratitude and vibration to the ultimate position of Father Sun and his divine masculine energy. The goddess is fully pregnant and seen across the Northern Hemisphere as everything is in full bloom. From here on out, the days will grow shorter and it'll be time to begin our harvest.
I just love what summer solstice represents. Over the years, we've heard it called Litha, 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 but the traditional name was midsummer. In the 1950s, it was given this name of Litha in the Wheel of the Year, and the name has stuck ever since.
Regardless of what you call it, Litha is the celebration of summer, of heat, of climax. It's a celebration of the longest day and the shortest night, and the turn towards the darker half of the year.
Yeah, it's time to dance, sing, sweat, and get embodied by all that surrounds us, as nature's magic is in full bloom. The energies are at their highest, and it's time to celebrate that. It marks the halfway point in the Wheel of the Year, honoring what we have created in the first part of the cycle and releasing our expectations and our outcomes to the universe.
Litha is usually celebrated on or around June 21st in the Northern Hemisphere and December 21st in the Southern Hemisphere. A good metaphor for Litha is that it's the full moon of the solar cycle.
Our goal is to help you use the Wheel of the Year in cadence with the natural cycles of the universe to become more effective in healing, releasing, and manifesting.
So today we will discover how to celebrate this high holiday, and then we are going to share our favorite ceremony we use every year to celebrate Litha, harvesting our intention bracelets and our releasing ceremony.
Getting our bracelets on Litha is a high point of our year because it honors what we have created together for the last 6 months. Then we finish our day together by releasing our essence bottles back to Gaia and embrace the turn of the wheel.
So be sure to hit like and subscribe below to ensure you don't miss any of our upcoming videos on all our favorite metaphysical and spiritual topics that will get you to your most optimal timeline.
Let's Litha! Summer solstice! We are here, we are here, we are here. For those of you with a sun-seeking soul, Litha is your day. Literally, it's one of my favorite times of the entire year. There is so much celebration in the world, from summer festivals in every major city to pride events of all kinds taking place around this period of time. It is time for celebration of all that we are. It's the growth climax of the year, and during this energetic high point, it's time to celebrate everything that you have achieved and all that you are becoming.
Traditionally, Litha was the celebration of the green man or the oak king, symbolic of divine solar masculine energy. If you imagine walking through a lush, uncharted forest, the green man was said to be peering through the greenery and send abundance and prosperity to you. So not that creepy.
Right?
They say that's why you feel so beautiful when walking through a forest or a creek.
The Oak King, the old pagan tradition, was a tree in full blossom and represented the cycles of nature. It is on summer solstice that all of the trees, flowers, and plants around us are at their most maximum bloom. And the largest tree was selected to be decorated and then cut down in reverence for the world's turn to the coming harvest season. Every ending is a new beginning, which, from this point on, the world stops inhaling and begins to exhale. More on that later.
Like Beltane in May, this Sabbath is associated with fire, and often large bonfires roared into the night to revere the sun. In ancient times, believers would throw flaming discs towards the sun or roll flaming circles down the largest hill around towards the water as a symbol of the descending sun. They believed this honored the sun's slow journey towards winter, and by honoring it, their upcoming harvest would be fruitful. Over the years, this tradition has been adapted in so many different ways, depending on your access to space or your scope of practice. Well, we live in an urbanite city, so we definitely aren't rolling large flaming bales of hay down hills here. But we definitely do make some flower crowns.
Definitely. There's one more piece of ancient lore that is super important to Litha, which is the Fae.
Fairies!
Now, they aren't exactly what you imagine, thanks to Tinkerbell and Peter Pan. Those are pixies, which are made up with Disney. These are the fairy folk.
Okay. The Fae people are said to bless us mortals with both luck and mischief on summer solstice. Culturally, this was extremely prevalent in literature and art. Even Shakespeare found muse in this belief in one of his most famous works, A Midsummer's Night's Dream.
Yeah, he even used the traditional names of actual Fae deities like Titania, also named Mab, and Oberon.
Yeah. Traditionally, any herbs or flowers that were picked at midnight on a summer solstice were said to be the most potent, which was a huge plot point in his story. On that point, often flowers harvested today were made into flower crowns to honor both the sun and the Fae.
Now, the original Fae people can be traced back to the Tuatha De Danann. The goddess Danu, also called Anu or Anna, was the primordial mother goddess of the Tuatha, and her children became the first living gods of this earth. It's a similar story like Zeus and the first gods on Mount Olympus. They were associated with fairies, but let's talk about what that meant before Tinkerbell existed. The Tuatha were known to be warrior people, and equally as enchanting artists and writers whose beauty was unparalleled. They endured many extreme battles, with most accounts in ancient Ireland having fire raining from the sky. Eventually, they lost to man and they retreated underground. It is said that each member of the Tuatha were given a different hill in the Isles, and not a single hill was left unguarded by them.
In order to honor Danu, followers would circle her sacred grove and light torches. They would wave it over themselves, their crops, and their cattle, asking for blessings of prosperity and abundance.
Another interesting fact is that Lu was also one of the kings of the Tuatha De Danann. And we're going to be talking a lot about Lu next month as we prepare for Lunasa.
Now, we can't mention summer solstice without talking about the ancient monolith Stonehenge. Regardless if you believe Stonehenge is a calendar, a ritual space, an observatory, or even just a statue, one thing is undeniable. On summer solstice, the main avenue of the Stonehenge aligns perfectly with the rising sun, and its light never hits the heel stone, never casting a shadow. This makes Stonehenge a mysterious and important part of Celtic, Gaelic, and Welsh mythology.
At Litha, we need to take a page from nature. The world is blossoming with energy of all kinds. Vitality surrounds us as we harness this energy for our highest potential. We also acknowledge with gratitude that the wheel will begin to spin towards winter. The time of the Oak King has passed, and the time of the Holly King is upon us. The sun god will wane, and nature will ready itself for the harvest.
Litha marks the turn of the wheel into the 6th season of the year. This is the season of gratitude. This takes place as we move from Litha towards Lunasa, which is the first harvest of the year. This is the season of celebrating all that surrounds us and all that we've accomplished. What are you grateful for that had come to pass, and what things didn't? As we move into shadow season and harvest, it's important to take stock of what we didn't come to pass and what blocks might have been standing in your way.
As the solar wheel moves from Gemini to Cancer, we let our emotions take us underwater to experience healing in the depths of gratitude. Also, Cancer rules the 4th house, which is also about home and family. You may want to take stock of what home means to you and connect with those energies, whether if it's where you live, who you live with, or even your body temple and how you exist within it. Fun fact. On the night of Litha, the sky is adorned with beautiful mythology. At its apex is the constellation of Hercules. Hercules! Hercules! Now, did you know that the Hercules that we know and love was, and in some cases still is, worshipped as a deity and a hero of a lot of ancient Greek mythology?
Also, astrologically, Litha takes place at the end of Gemini before Cancer. We have an entire video on Gemini being released this week, so please stay tuned for that.
The Gemini twins are really important to midsummer because we are celebrating duality. It's the turn from the light towards the shadow season, from the Oak King to the Holly King. It's the longest day and the shortest night.
Over the course of history, the twins were revered on Solstice in so many different pantheons of belief. Some examples include the Egyptian deities Isis and Osiris, the Greek sun god Apollo and his moon goddess sister Artemis.
Yeah, and even as far back in ancient Sumeria, there are stories of Inanna and her evil sister Ishtargal.
On Litha, we celebrate the light and welcome the coming darkness. We acknowledge that witnessing our darkness is just as important as celebrating our light, and it's here we begin the journey of integration over the next coming months. First, there must be a little celebration.
You bet. I love me a little bit of flower crown. But the most important part of our ceremony is, of course, us harvesting our woven intention bracelets, honoring our work for the past fire festivals, and then releasing our essence bottles, preparing to be harvested.
So let's take a moment for a quick review. Now, ceremonially, in the Wheel of the Year, the first fire festival was Imbolc, where we ask our manifestations to be revealed to us in our naming ceremony. During the following season of initiation, we entertain those ideas, discovering what pathways and options we are led down in order to complete our work. We were starting to decide what our daily practices will be like that will serve our manifestations, and we see what our obstacles stand in our way. It was here where we made our bottles of intention essence.
Next, we made it to Ostara, the second of our fire festivals, which marks the exploration of our discoveries and the declaration of our intentions within safe spaces. It was on the celebration where we walked our labyrinth together and we uncovered our thought processes and dared to speak our truths to one another. During the following season of creation, we tended our soils and did our work. We were convicted in our practices and took the daily actions backed by the energy of the ram to see real growth in the areas of our life where we wanted to see change.
So then it was Beltane, which meant it was time for the season of manifestation to begin. We crafted our intention bracelets and let them sit for the whole 6-week season. And now on Litha, they're finally ours.
I cannot wait. This is a reminder. We started making these bracelets with our intention bottles on Imbolc. That was almost 6 months ago. The work of large intentions is that of persistence, and now we get to reap the benefits.
Okay, so let's talk ceremony.
Shall we?
If you imagine you are a seedling, Imbolc was the seed planting in dark soil that was nurtured during Yule.
On Ostara, the seeds are making their brave voyage to the surface. Buds are blooming, becoming ready to flower.
And then on Beltane, we are starting to see those flowers, but we may also have witnessed that some things might not have occurred. It was time to look at what was holding you back, where your blocks are, and then bravely forge forward into the season of manifestation, knowing where your work lies.
And now Litha is upon us. It's when we stare out at what we created and exhale in gratitude. Our celebration has 5 different parts.
1, preparing the altar and setting space.
Number 2, fastening our intention bracelets from Beltane.
3, celebration.
Celebration! Number 4, the sacred pause and musing or scrying.
And 5, releasing our essence bottles.
But before we get to all of that, we must prepare. So preparation. Okay, let's talk about what you're gonna need to celebrate. I believe that you should spend this day outside.
Yeah.
It is an outdoors day. So if you can, make sure that you have some time outside. First and foremost, you should try and spend it in a place where all elements are present. We like to be somewhere in a forest or a park with a tree line for some shade and some open sunlight for some fire energy. We also like to be close to a lake, ocean, or stream if we can, and we like to be able to have a fire once night comes.
You'll need to bring with you a few things. Just a few.
We bring luggage.
We bring luggage too. A park.
A public park.
Okay, so first you'll need fire. So we are bonfire folk. But in other years, we've had simple fire bowls or an altar or even just a candle or using our cauldron. Your essence bottles with your woven bracelet that has been absorbing the fire festival's energy for the entire season of manifestation. The next is music. The energy streams honored on Litha are all ones that love music, and what better way to bring them in than with dance? And then of course, our tarot cards or any form of divination for scrying. We often bring mirrors for that as well.
Yeah.
Anything you'd like to release.
Yeah, if there's anything else that you want to bring, old pictures, anything you need to let go, this is a good time.
Old letters. I smashed that old stone to dust.
Smashed a crystal to dust.
To dust, yeah.
And lastly, you're going to want to bring some food and water. This is probably going to be a really long day. Usually I like to wake up and witness the sunrise. I go back and I rest a little bit, and then usually I meet Candice in a park somewhere, and we spend, we don't leave until midnight. So it's usually a really special day for us, and we really look forward to it. So we hope it can be a really special day for you too.
Lots of water.
Lots of water.
So next is the setup of the altar. I love this part. We're known to actually bring luggage to the park for this. Actual luggage. We bring a stand that can be used as a table. We decorate with flowers we find in the surrounding area. This again is symbolic of the oak king being cut down as the harvest approaches. We usually have a center fire bowl or cauldron that we keep burning all day. We try to light all fire off of that one flame for the day. We also make flower crowns and have been known to wear sacred adornments like body jewels and tattoos to feel embodied.
Yeah, also bring a large bowl and get some fresh water from a nearby river or lake. And have it cook in the sun all day long. Just leave it out so it gets nice and hot. We actually end up using that during our sacred pause section of our ceremony. We use it to draw on each other and things. We also like to place pictures of the ones that we love on our altar, and maybe anyone who's passed away or anything symbolic of what we've achieved this year or what we might hope to achieve. Bring whatever is important to you and place it somewhere on our table. And lastly, Candice and I also always gift each other something on most of the Sabbaths, just to honor the reverence and respect that we hold for one another.
So once you're all set up, set some sacred space. Again, this is a high holiday, which means this is a high ceremony. So anytime you're raising energy like this, you should open a circle. During our videos at the beginning of the year, we talked about how to call in guides and guardians and how to set up sacred space. We will include a link for that below so that you can go back and kind of follow along and know how to do that.
Yeah, and also if you're not sure how to call in guides or set sacred space, we actually have an audio that you can purchase on Arcana's website, so that all you have to do is listen and meditate as you set up your sacred space. We'll also place a link below just for that if you're interested. Then once we're in circle, we start the work.
Okay, so step 2, intention bracelet time. There's literally no wrong way to do this. We have waited 6 months and it's time. I want my bracelet.
I want my bracelet. My wrist feels empty without it. To start this, we hold our bottles and we say what it means to us. Sometimes this can get kind of emotional and raw. Think about where you were 6 months ago when you were crafting this bottle. Oh boy. What have you produced? And ask yourself, what does this bracelet remind you of?
All right, so next, clip your bracelet and fasten it around your wrist. It'll be there until final harvest, Samhain, when we burn it. But until then, it lives with you. It is now a part of you. Don't take it off. There it shall stay on your wrist
for months
until Samhain day.
Yeah.
I made a rhyme, and I'm very proud of myself.
Oh, that was good. Shakespeare.
Midsummer Night's Dream.
All right, so moving on to our next part. This is the celebration. For us, this part goes on for hours. We usually invite friends to have a cocktail in the park with us. We do some healing work. We dance, we sing, we laugh. We look back, we look forward. It really is an amazing time. I mean, we've even flown kites. So if you feel so called to, use your tarot cards here. But keep those cards around for later during Sacred Pause. They'll also be useful then.
Do what makes you smile. Traditionally, practitioners would get naked and jump over the fire. I am not going to confirm or deny if we do this, considering we celebrate this in a city park. We leave that in your hands.
Or do it. Okay, so the next section is Sacred Pause, and I really love this too. So just before golden hour, when the sun is preparing to set, we turn ourselves a little bit more introspective. Mm-hmm. We usually give each other time to walk the park and think. We meditate and usually write a letter to ourselves or to our circle. Sometimes we draw things. We call this the Sacred Pause because most of it is done in silence.
Mm-hmm. While we write, we often draw symbols on one another's backs in bright colors of red, green, and yellow, using the water from the stream and flowers or paints. We spend time laying crystals on each other and do some body work. You can do some breath work or a mala practice and some mirror scrying or tarot pulls quietly. We meet back in circle and it's time to release our essence bottles.
We take our bottles we prepared at Imbolc, the very first fire festival of the year, and we release it. Now, traditionally, you would take the bottle to a stream, and inside it you would place the letter that you wrote, and then you would burn it down, allowing the ashes to fall inside it. And then you would allow the bottle to wash downstream. Often in stories, they allow their bottle to wash to the other side of the ocean, like in movies like Message in a Bottle. But we have a huge problem with littering.
Yeah, so we're not going to do that.
Yeah, no. So what we do is we actually break our bottle and we allow the stones and crystals and oils, herbs, plants, everything that's inside it to wash downstream. Then we collect the glass and of course we recycle it.
This can also be a little bittersweet because you've put so much work into these bottles. It's a reminder of the cycles of life. Your essence has done the work for you already. It's time to allow it to rest. If you feel called, save a little bit of your essence in your cauldron. It can then live on in your practices for harvest season. If you'd like it at all to be washed away, that's fine too.
Remember, you can adapt this in any way that feels the most authentic to you.
Mm-hmm. And lastly, we close the circle with gratitude.
And that is what our practice typically looks like for Litha. But remember, it doesn't have to look exactly the same. Depending on your level of practice, there are so many different ways that you can celebrate. Here's a few.
So one, find a beautiful space in nearby a forest or ravine where you can sit uninterrupted to feel the sun on your skin. Maybe even wake up when the sun rises and reverence to the sun.
Next, work with colors. Golds, reds, greens, really bright colors are strongly associated with the Sabbath. So wear it and decorate your home and office space with as much of these seasonal colors as possible. Of course, other practices also call you to wear just solid white for purity and then decorate yourself with bright colors. Again, choose what works for you.
Yeah. Another one would be work with solar chakra. Let the sun shine in. It's the best day of the year to infuse your solar plexus and solar energy. So make some time to do a sun salutation.
Next, listen to music and dance.
Yeah.
Celebrate all that has come your way. And even open up that throat chakra and sing a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Next, find a poem or a verse to read that inspires you. Remember that the Fae love art of all kinds, so find a reading to share based on the season. We will be sharing a blessing for Litha next week, so if you are not a writer, you can happily use ours.
So Candice, you planted some really amazing seeds this year, starting back as far as Imbolc. And I remember during Ostar and Beltane, you were talking about how these positive changes were starting to take root and blossom in your life. So now that we're getting to Litha, what are you celebrating this year? What are you grateful for?
I am grateful for the fruits of my labor. I am grateful. I'm grateful for the new beautiful people that have come into my life that have welcomed me and my daughter into their hearts and their home, who've made time for us, who have made time for me, who have gotten to know the people that are important in my life, who have reminded me to look at myself in a way that all the people that love me look at me and see me. And I feel very, very grateful to have this new person, two new people that in my life that really just remind me that magic is real, and I'm very deserving of all the things I've ever wanted. So I'm very, very, very grateful. Yay. So, what about you? What are you grateful for?
I too am very grateful for the same two people that you're talking about. I think that the inclusion of these people into our lives has been really beautiful. Yeah. And it's like true proof of all the work for years.
It really is.
It really is.
I keep getting surprised.
Yeah.
At how great it really is.
Yeah. And when I just think of the things that I could have been upset about this year that could have held me down, when I think of the people that are in our chosen family and the people who have shown up for us and are part of our lives, who are continuously there, I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful. Yeah. Even just for the moments of being able to stop and practice. And another thing I'm super grateful for is how far Arcana has grown this year.
Yeah.
And how much we put into that and how much of a priority that we've made it. And all of you for watching. It's really humbling for us and really beautiful for us. So that's where my gratitude lies.
Yeah. It's definitely been a big year of seeing the things.
Yeah.
It's been like
everywhere.
Seeing the things. I said in the beginning, I wanted, at the beginning of this cycle, that I wanted it to be about the actual, like, tangible things.
Yeah.
And I have to remember to not be such an impatient Aries at times, and remember that, like, every few months, every turn of the wheel, I get what I asked
every
for.
time.
And more of these tangible things, and the work is there. Like, I'm literally plowing the fields, and they are lush and full.
Yeah, gorgeous.
The harvest is delicious, and the fruit is juicy.
Isn't it?
And it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is juicy.
Not wrong.
So I can't wait. So be sure to comment below and let us know how you are going to celebrate Litha this year. Be sure to hit like and subscribe to our videos so that you are going to receive all the videos for our next high holidays, including Lunasa, which is the first of the harvest. This marks the end of the season of gratitude and begins the season of integration. That wheel just keeps on spinning.
Right? So fast it feels sometimes. In the meantime, Arcana releases 3 videos a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we go live every morning. Can't wait. Be sure to share this video with your friends so that you can decide how you will celebrate
Litha.
Yes. Many blessings and abundant returns. We can't wait to see what you grow.
Magic is real. Namaste, SoulCircle.
Much love. Mwah.